You ever wonder how some sales reps or business owners close almost everyone they speak to, or seemingly everyone they speak to? Meanwhile, you or some other sales rep struggles to close a fucking door? This isn't by some sort of talent or gift. There's certain things that most top 1% closers do in every single sales call, in every single sales process. And this applies to sales reps, closers, setters, or a business owner if you're selling your own thing yourself. There's a few things, 5 to be exact, which you can do in your sales process as well as your sales call, which will skyrocket your close rate immediately by at least 20 to 30% if you actually implement this. All right, and that's what we're going to talk about today. How to boost your close rate 20 to 30% overnight by implementing these 5 different strategies. My name is Baaz Virk. I run revenuegrowth.io. We're a sales agency. We build and manage sales processes and sales infrastructures for 7 and 8-figure companies. And we also partner with sales reps so we can build those sales processes and infrastructures in multiple different verticals. I'm trying to be in 25 different verticals by end of 2024. That being said, subscribe, like, share, all that good noise, and let's dive in. All right, so let's break this down. If you're running a sales agency or if you're just a sales rep, let's break down the differences between a mediocre or average run-of-the-mill sales rep versus a top closer, a top tier sales rep no one wants to leave, right? So number one is their belief system and conviction. A belief system is a set of principles or tenets that guide your behavior and your decisions. This is important because the service or product you sell should be aligned with your beliefs. Having belief systems that perfectly align with the product or service that you're selling will result immediately in a much higher conviction, which refers to the strong persuasion or firm belief in your service or your product. So I know this isn't tactical sales stuff, but here's why all this is super important, right? A couple things here. One is authenticity. Customers or your prospects, they can sense when a sales rep genuinely believes in whatever it is that they're selling. Too many reps try to, quote unquote, fake the funk, but that doesn't really last that long at all. Authenticity builds trust. Number two is motivation. A strong belief in the product keeps you motivated, even when faced with challenges or rejections. As a sales rep, rejections are coming all the time, but if you have that faith in that conviction in the product or service that you're selling, it doesn't matter how many rejections because the fulfillment, the deliverables are godlike. And then persuasion, conviction helps in persuasively communicating the value of your product or your service, making your pitch that much more compelling. So here's what every sales rep should do. Let me move myself here. Should be doing to build a belief and conviction system in whatever it is that they're selling. One is know your product, understand every detail, feature, and benefit, most importantly, of your product or service provided to your customers. Believe in the value. If possible, try to use a product or service yourself and see what kind of benefits or results you yourself get, right? This will help you get firsthand experience of the client journey to people who you're selling to as far as the deliverables go or the fulfillment goes. Get used to getting constant feedback from current and past clients. So hearing and seeing their success using your service or your product will help skyrocket your conviction on a regular basis. Conviction isn't something, okay, in January you did it, February is not there anymore, March is back. It's not like that. You need to have it constantly updated, sort of. And then align with your values. Make sure the product or service you're selling align with your personal values and your personal ethics, whatever they might be. Number two is eliminating objections. Most sales reps focus on handling objections, right? And I'm sure you've heard this. And at the end of the sales call or at the end of the sales meeting, now objections will always come in sales. It's fucking sales. Objections will be there. But focusing on waiting until the end of the call to do some sort of objection battle is rookie behavior. All right. It's mediocre behavior. If you've ever listened to an actual top closer close a deal, it almost feels like they had a laydown, right? A laydown, for those of you who don't know, hopefully you know this if you're in sales, is someone who just shows up to the call with already having the intention to buy. They just say, here, I want that one. Here's my credit card. So most of these guys, top closers deals, if you listen to them, if you have access to listen to their Zoom calls or their phone calls, it sounds like it was just a laydown. No objection ever came up. As soon as they pitched the price, it was just, okay, where do I sign, right? Most sales reps think that the top guys just get lucky with the prospects they get because they don't get any objections and the closes are quote unquote easy. Now, here's why the top closers can seamlessly close deals without having to handle objections at the end. One is sales process. Handling objections during discovery instead of the end of the sales call can prevent stalls in the sales process. So during the discovery, you have to be looking for the truth as to what objections the prospect has instead of handling them at the end. And it feels like more of a conversation, right? Bring everything out on the table during discovery. This way you eliminate everything before it ever comes up. Builds trust, right? It demonstrates that you are actually listening, you're attentive to the prospect's concerns and are committed to finding solutions. Tackling all objections early on in the call also lets your prospect know that you aren't afraid of a no or to challenge them and won't just try to sell anything to anyone. And then this closes more deals. Successfully overcoming obstacles before they can even turn into objections can turn hesitant prospects into buyers. The more you try to, quote unquote, objection battle at the end of the call or the end of the meeting, the less deals you'll close. So here's a couple of things you can do to start eliminating some objections during the first half of your call. One is anticipate the objections. Prepare for common objections in advance, right? And have ready responses. We all know the think about it, money, fear, wife, all these objections that usually come up at the end of the call. Why not bring it out up in the front, like in the beginning of the call? Number two is active listening. Listen carefully to understand the true nature of the objection. Don't just listen to respond or to move on to the next part of your $1 million sales script or whatever goofy nonsense you got going on. Actually try to understand what the prospect is telling you or they're saying to you or their response before moving along your script or your framework or the process. Next is empathize and validate. Acknowledge the prospect's concern and show that you understand their perspective. All right. Validating their responses also makes them feel more understood, and people buy from people who feel like understand them. And next is provide evidence. In the event your objection is because of the company you're selling for or a low trust factor or something along those lines, use your internal data, right? Your case studies, testimonials, all that stuff to counter those objections or obstacles since they haven't turned into objections just yet. Number three is looking for the no. Most sales trainers, I know there's like a fucking million now, they teach reps to look for some sort of a yes ladder when trying to close more deals. And that prospect will just continue saying yes the more you get them to say it. Anyone who's closed more than $1 million can tell you how ridiculous this is. And by the way, closing $1 million in deals is not, you're still a rookie. And anything underneath that, you're not truly a professional just yet. Our goal is to instead look for all the reasons a prospect shouldn't move forward with our service or our product. So here's why I would rather look for, not push for the no, but look for the no, right? Efficiency saves time by quickly filtering out prospects who are not genuinely interested. They're just fucking here wasting your time, our time. That's it. No reason to waste 45 to 60 minutes with a prospect who isn't ready for another 6 months, right? That time can be spent following up on actual qualified leads. And no reason to continue trying to convince someone your company is the best fit if they don't have that trust in them already or if they don't think it is already. Number two is focus. Allows you to focus your efforts on leads that have a higher likelihood of converting, right? Focusing on deals that you have to convince and beg and plead in order to maybe close one day doesn't make you a top producer. Instead, focus on qualified leads and you're currently already working on. The ones that you're currently already working on. And next is it reduces pressure, removes the pressure of trying to convert every lead and helps you refine your pitch based on genuine feedback from the market, from the leads. Finding the truth. Just find out if and how your service or product can help them. And then show them logistically how, help them explain away this thing logistically, help them overcome their fear of buying. Simple, not easy, simple. So here's a couple pointers I can give you on how you can look for the no's. One is qualifying questions. Don't be afraid here. Ask direct, hard, tough questions or to determine if the prospect is a good fit early on and continue if they're actually checking off all your boxes. And depending on the framework or the script you have, different boxes to be checked off. Number two is be direct. Don't be afraid to ask if the prospect sees any reason why they wouldn't proceed, right? The worst thing they can say is no, and then you move on without wasting any time instead of waiting 45, 60 minutes to get the no that you could have gotten 10 minutes in. And then learn from the no's. Analyze why certain prospects said no, and then refine your approach accordingly. Next is finding the why. This is where we ask hard questions. One of the biggest fears I've seen sales rep a sales rep has is that the prospect will say no, or they'll lose their shit, or they'll curse them out, or whatever it might be. And because of this fear, most sales reps are afraid to ask the prospects hard questions, questions that will actually challenge their prospects instead of just kissing their ass or yesing them to death. And this unnecessary fear is what keeps them stuck in mediocrity. So here's why asking hard questions or challenging questions is important. One, it builds deeper connection. It builds a stronger relationship by showing genuine interest in the prospect's needs. Your prospect likely has attended other sales calls or other sales meeting where the sales rep just yes them to death or kiss their ass. Um, and this is a refreshing, different perspective for them as a client, as a prospect. Having a sales rep actually challenge their belief will have the prospect build a deeper connection with you, as they'll see your goal is to actually help them think or challenge their way of thinking instead of just slinging a pitch or slinging a product or slinging a service. Tailored solution. This allows you to present your product or service in a way that directly addresses the prospect's specific pain points, right? There's no one size fits all here. Your pitch is important here, but giving everyone the same exact pitch isn't how the top closers do it. Every pitch is custom tailored for that specific prospect. And this helps close more deals, helps in uncovering hidden objections and areas where your product can provide unique value. And challenging your prospects will also help uncover some objections that the prospect never planned on telling you. They were just going to fucking ghost you, right? So, tips on what to do in order to ask these hard questions. Prepare thoughtful questions. Develop questions that probe deeper into the prospect's needs and their motivation. Your goal is to dig deep and peel off layer by layer, right? Like the prospect's problems are like an onion. You just got to keep peeling. And you peel these layers off, what specifically prospect is looking for, what they've tried to get what they're looking for, why they failed to get what they're looking for, so on and so forth. Your discovery process, that should be basic. Be persistent but respectful. Sometimes your prospects will dodge the question and try to take the conversation in a totally different direction. That's them trying to take control. Depending on the level of sophistication of your prospects, depending on what you're selling, be persistent. Don't shy away from difficult questions, but always be respectful. And then listen actively. Pay close attention to the responses and adapt your pitch accordingly. Don't have your focus on your script or what questions to ask next. Every question you have to ask will be built off of your prospect's answer. Focus on listening to understand rather than listening to reply. And then last but not least is confidence. The belief in one's abilities and the effectiveness of the product or service being sold. This is what confidence is. Now, in my opinion, confidence comes from actual evidence, right? It doesn't come from shouting affirmation in the mirror. You've got a product or service that has actually delivered or fulfilled on its promises. Then as a sales rep, you don't have to build any confidence in the product. You should already have that confidence because there's so much evidence stacked in favor of the product or the service you're selling. When it comes to your own confidence, same thing. You have to, on a daily basis, stack evidence that you're actually good at sales and you're actually helping these people, helping your prospects. Confidence is the unspoken thing in sales. We all know it's important, but not too many actually focus on it, to increase it every single day. And here's why confidence is so important in sales. One, it builds trust. Confidence is contagious. If you believe in yourself and your product, the prospect is more likely to as well. This is super simple. Again, not easy, simple, proven fact in human communication. The more conviction, confidence you've got in yourself and what you're selling, the more conviction, confidence your prospect will have in you and what you're selling. It improves the performance. Confidence helps in delivering a more compelling and persuasive pitch. Confidently challenging your prospects and asking hard questions to uncover their true pain points will automatically lead to more closed deals. Resilience helps in bouncing back from rejections and staying motivated. As a sales rep, making best friends with rejections will be the number one tactic to help skyrocket your confidence. Every day will get easier than the last, and your confidence will grow day by day because you're stacking all this evidence. So here's what you can do to actively improve your confidence. One is practice. Just regularly practice your pitch and your responses to objections, your discovery questions, just to build confidence. We learn all these tactics in sales training, but we only try to practice on actual prospects. Practice on your own time, right? In the gym, driving, whatever it is. Positive mindset. Again, not to sound cheesy, but you have to maintain a positive outlook and focus on past successes. Negativity cannot breed confidence in any situation. Look for the positive in every single situation. Look for solutions, not problems. Knowledge. This is where your sales training comes into play. You know what to do on your sales call or meeting. You know your prospects better than anyone else. You know your product service better than anyone else on the team. So you have a cheat code. Put it to use. And then this one is not really spoken about much, body language, especially in the online high ticket space. It's just as important as the words coming out of your mouth. Even if you're selling over Zoom, your physical presence has to assert dominance, right? You have to be assertive, not aggressive or anything like that. Use confident body language, maintain eye contact, speak clearly and assertively. And that's it for this one. Hopefully you got some sauce out of this, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.